Jen here with a layout for the Spiegel Mom Scraps design team. I'm also showing you my sketch for April because it's April 30th today. I don't know how that actually happened, but yeah, it is the 30th of April. And so I figured I should probably at least try my sketch since I'm the one who created it. I should probably make a layout with it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull out some papers. This is actually the Lil Do collection from Simple Stories. It's in my How to Kill a Kit with Style kit for this month. And I'm going to pull out some adorable little pictures of my baby boy. Oh my gosh, he was so teeny tiny. This was only a few months after we brought him home. So he was still like all brand new to us and snuggly and adorable, and he had the cutest little cheeks. And so I just pulled out a few of these pictures from us kind of hanging out on the Chesterfield. He was having a bit of a nap. He was snuggling with Luna, and at one point I have a photo there. It's going to be right in the middle where he's actually holding her paw and kind of like rubbing her paw as he's trying to fall asleep. It was so cute, so cute. And then just some pictures after he actually woke up from his nap of playing on his sister's phone and just like watching some little videos that she was showing him. So super cute little pictures and super cute little collection. I threw this into my How to Kill a Kit with Style kit because our theme for this quarter was to build a kit around our oldest collection. This isn't probably my oldest collection. I don't really have, I have a lot of older stash. If you want to go see me going through all of that, I have the kit building video already posted, and you can see that I have a lot of older stash, but I didn't really buy kits at the beginning. I just didn't have the money to do that. I had to piece things together for myself. And so I would just buy a couple papers here and there and some stickers here and there. And so I didn't have a lot of full kits to kind of build, or full collections to build my kit around. But this is an older collection that I do still have a lot of the pieces to. So I figured I would go ahead and throw it in there. And you can see here, I don't have any 12 by 12 papers left, but I definitely have a lot of papers left over in varying sizes. And then I have stickers and chipboard and all that kind of fun stuff. So I just went ahead and started going through the papers. I found two pieces that I thought were large enough that I would go ahead and use those as the kind of like the larger layers that you see in the sketch. They aren't quite probably to the same scale as in the sketch, but I had to go with the sizes of paper that I had. And also I wanted to make sure that I was picking something a little bit neutral because I knew I was going to be adding lots of color in here. And so I wanted to make sure that because it's patterns that I'm adding and not just solid colors, that those patterns weren't going to start to compete with everything. So the polka dots are on kind of a cream background, and I thought they're probably neutral enough. They're small enough that no matter how much I cover them up, you're still going to be able to tell that they're dots. But you know, they're kind of basic enough that they shouldn't compete too much. And I do know, as I was cutting that other piece of paper with the larger circles that have images in them, I knew I would probably end up cutting up quite a few of those. But when you're actually looking at the layout up close, you still do see quite a few of the images. So I'm okay with that. I felt like they were similar enough without being exactly the same, and they kind of worked. So I got those set up, and then I went ahead and did my smushing. There is mixed media in the sketch, and it's on those background layers, but I thought they were just a little bit too busy to go ahead and add some mixed media onto those layers. So I did it in the white space kind of opposite corners to where the layers are going to be. And I pulled out these acrylic spray mist paint things that I got from Dollarama of all places. I know I say that all the time, and you guys are probably like, Jen, you buy a lot of stuff at Dollar Tree, so stop saying of all places. You're right. But the thing is, I do buy a lot of this stuff, but I never actually expect any of it to last in my stash. By that, what I mean is I like to buy it. I like to share it with you guys, but I always have the expectation that it's probably something that isn't going to work as well as stuff that's specifically made for scrapbooking. It might not work nicely on the papers. If it runs too much, or it's not drying properly, or whatever it might be. The colors are a little wonky, the nozzles get clogged and they don't work, whatever it might be. I always kind of go into it thinking, this is great. I'm glad they have these supplies, and I'm going to buy them, and I'm going to, try and see what I can do with them. But I also expect that not all of them are going to pleasantly surprise me with how much fun they are or how good they are. So I try to stay a little bit guarded with my expectations, but these ones were really fun. I fully expected that they would just be another mist, because I have lots of mists in my collection, and I even have other mists from Dollar Tree, which I really like. They're a little bit thicker acrylic, and they can, have some fun kind of texture to them. So I enjoy working with those ones. These ones I could tell were a little bit more watery, and so I thought if they're really, really pale, or they're too watery, or they're not spraying really nice, I could just give them to the kids, and then they have something to add into their little craft stash. Especially my one niece loves to do crafts with me. So, she wouldn't be upset if I was throwing more supplies into the craft kits that I have. But I was so excited to see when they came out on paper, because they are neon, and I don't have anything neon in my stash. So they're definitely going to be in my stash for a little bit while I play with them some more, because they're just something different that I don't have. So the colors are super bright. And yes, you can see from the bottles, they're very bright. That orange is really standing out. But I didn't honestly expect them to be quite so neon on the paper. I thought they might dull a little bit when I started to smush them, but they're not. They're really vibrant. They're really fun. I want to use them on some black cardstock next and see if they kind of hold up that way too. But yay, I was kind of excited. So Dollarama for those ones. Kind of pulled out the same colors in the collection and just did a little bit of smushing. And then while that's drying, I'm going to do all the layers behind my pictures. So that's one thing I love about this particular sketch that I created. It's a perfect opportunity to use up scraps, because I'm putting lots of layers behind the photos, and I kind of put 2 layers behind each of the photos, or the little rectangles that represent photos to me. But I honestly, when I create, I mean for you guys to look at that and just go to town with it. And so do as many layers as you want, have fun with it, do the size of pictures that you have, pick out the things that inspire you, and just have fun playing and experimenting and creating. That is all I ever hope for when I create a sketch for everybody to use. So I'm definitely adding a few more layers than what are in there. I think probably at the end of doing all these layers, these middle ones have 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of like 4.5 layers. And then the smaller ones each have 3 layers, I think. So, and I'm just piecing all these little elements together. I did have to go through the collection and cut out some pieces from the cut apart sheets to try to find some colors like that bluish teal color. I could only find that in one of the cut apart pieces. I cut out the little teepee image from that piece and then used just the negative space around it to try to build my layer. But I love doing that kind of thing too, so it definitely is right up my alley to play around and kind of work with small little, scraps and stuff and see what I can do with them and really kind of stretch the papers. I might not have to always be this stingy, but in this case, to get all of those colors, I definitely was trying to be stingy. So I just find that really fun. And then I went ahead and put it all down and, got it where I thought I wanted them to go and realized I forgot these 2 squares of paper. So I had to go back and plop them down. I am not doing any kind of really specific scientific measurements when I have that ruler out. It's really just because my pictures are all kind of catawampus, and so sometimes it throws off the balance, and I like to eyeball it because I think ultimately it has to look good to your eyes. It doesn't matter the measurements really. But I just wanted to kind of have a good idea of where center was, or not even a good idea, a very general idea of where center was, so that as I was sticking those pictures down, everything could kind of balance from that center. So I know they're not exactly in the center. And again, they're all at angles and the layers are all kind of different widths and angles and stuff. So that does play a little bit with your eye, and it gives you a little bit of wiggle room to not have to get things exactly perfect. But I still just wanted to kind of know where center was generally, so that I was at least in, the rough area of center. So that is what I was doing there. But I definitely recommend using your eyeballs to figure that out. And when everything looks balanced to the eye, don't worry if it's actually measuring up and actually in center. That's not really important. So once I got all those pictures down, I'm going to grab a couple of embellishments. So I have the little 8-page sticker pack that comes with the collection. So it's got, a lot of the flat stickers and little word stickers. So I pulled those out, and I also had the puffy stickers. So I grabbed a couple little puffy stars and the chipboard. So I definitely had quite a few of the elements for this collection, which was why I wanted to throw it into my kit. It's probably one of my fuller collections that I had way back then. And so I added a few of those little elements, not too much, because there is a lot going on here, obviously. But I did like kind of using the more black and white, or mostly black embellishments here. They stand out a little bit, and they kind of bring some of that really dark contrasting color in. So I've got some of the black embellishments, black stars, and that kind of thing. And then, of course, my sequins. So I'm using the April mixes. I've got the Dink mix, which is gorgeous greens that match this collection super, super well. And then some darker blues and kind of like a silvery color. It is a pickleball inspired sequins mix. And then also Mama Time, because that's what these pictures are, was me kind of hanging out with him while he was starting to fall asleep and then napping a little bit, and just having some mama time with my sweet little baby. So yeah, I had to get some of those in there, and I actually used the yellow ones. I'm almost all out of the yellow ones from Mama Time, so but they worked out really good too. And then my finishing touch is to do the sewing around the edge. The Scrap Shots April challenge is hand stitching, or sorry, just stitching in general. It doesn't have to be hand stitching, but I added that into the sketch, just because I knew that that was the challenge. And so I wanted to kind of inspire some of the things that were going on in April. And so that is in there. So I definitely wanted to do that. And I did these really big, bold stitches because I followed the lines that are in that background paper. And that's it. That is my layout. I love how this turned out. It's so fun and kind of, quirky and whimsical and cute. And I just really enjoyed putting it together. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please use my discount code Jen15 to save some money at Scrap Shots. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will talk to you again soon. Happy scrapping. Bye.
Bye. Thanks to me. She button. Tell my channel.